Hey YouTube, welcome back. We are doing the build voting for the contest that we've been running regarding Rotmind here. In case you don't know what the contest is, we've done a handful of these in the past. Links will be in the description for you of this video. So the point is, we have a week, we build the sweetest character that we can, and we try to make use of a unique item that is not commonly used. In the case of this one, Rotmind is a brand new item as of patch 0.9. It's kind of generic looking. It's a little bit more specific than it looks like. It's got some weird stuff going on where like it's a crit base, but it's got poison damage over time, but it's not poison ailment, it's poison spell damage. So there's some generic text here, and we were thinking to ourselves, what can we do with this that's interesting? We have 8 builds to look at. We're going to go through all of those builds. At the very end, we're going to vote on them. The people here in Twitch chat will be helping us decide which ones are the winners. We'll probably have like top 3. I think 8 top 3 should be fine for us. And yeah, so first things first, before we go over those builds, let me tell you what my ideas were and what issues I ran into. So I'm going to take the issues that I ran into, like my own personal experience, and I'll see how other people managed those issues, how they went about problem solving. So Rotmind here, poison damage for damage over time spells. So the spell itself has to have a damage over time tag. Something like Earthquake does not get the damage over time tag if you convert it to damage over time. Things like Aura of Decay, they are damage over time, but they don't have the spell tag. So there's a couple issues with like the tag system there. Less damage over time taken is pretty generic. Poison damage, sure. Area. So area is a new affix. You can scale area if you want to go like really big. This is a pretty low LP level item, so you can get some LP on it. Unfortunately, all of mine turned out like some garbage. One of the interesting interactions that I found that I hope someone else uses as well is you can kind of treat the poison ailment as shock. So in the past, you would say like, okay, if I could have my damage as any damage type of my choosing, assuming that all my increases in mores are pointing in the right direction, you would choose lightning damage because first of all, lightning damage has the best blessings available to it. And second of all, because lightning damage gets shock. So not only do you get shred, but you also get shock, and shock lowers enemies' lightning res. So like, it's so good. So with this thing, you have poison on your spell, but you could also use poison the ailment kind of like shock because it also lowers enemies' resistance. So I hope that someone is actually scaling poison damage. I think most of those builds would be like Lich, which is what we were trying here. We have like poison converted wandering spirits. The wandering spirits can apply some poisons as well. And then we have poison converted drain life to deal poison spell damage over time. So that was one of our ideas like this. The other idea that I'm going to swap over to for just a moment is a shaman build. It's kind of the skeleton of a different build that I wanted to play. We were playing a Rotmind shaman. And the thing that was interesting to me about this is that we don't have any specificity to our damage. All of our increased damage, all of our more damage, all of our penetration on the build that I'm about to show you here is all generic. So we have, let's go take a look. Let's close this out real quick. So we have poison damage over time, poison spell damage, cold spell damage, physical spell damage, and then from our mastery, lightning spell damage, and then more cold damage. We have damage all over the place on this character, but all of our more multipliers are generic. All of our increased multipliers are generic. And then all of our penetration coming in from Atri is generic. So like you kind of get a little bit of everything. And I thought that was pretty neat. I don't have any way of actually applying poisons because I'm not dealing enough poison damage. Oh, necrotic damage, even necrotic damage, baby. What a great relic here. So those were the 2 ideas that I had going on. So like one was like poison converted lich spells using damage over time. And this one was just like a hodgepodge of stuff with generic modifiers using like dot tornado and dot maelstrom. So with that introduction there, let's jump over to Discord and take a look at build number 1. So we had a week to go through these. Let's see what's going on. This person says, hear me out. Crit Hungering Souls Lich. Why? When I saw Rotmind Aura of Decay, immediately came to mind, but learning that it doesn't get the spell tag kind of disappointed me, and I had to think of something else. I knew everyone else was going to do some kind of dot stuff, but the base is crit strike chance. Remember, this thing is 2 to 3 base crit. It's kind of a bad crit base. All right, we'll see. It's easy to get 100% crit even without a crystal skull, which is the other +6 base crit offhand. Also, Hungering Souls has the dot tag and spell tags, so it gets the +1 even if it makes 0 use of the dots. It does, okay. It's not significant to my current setup, but you can get +3 or +4 helmet. It adds up. Nice. So this person has a couple pieces of gameplay footage. Let's take a look at the Aerobis, and then we'll do the Monolith run after that. See what's going on. Boop. Looks like we're trying to get a bunch of damage by having our 3 minions as well. Glancing blows. So 1 defensive modifier. For me, it's kind of hard to tell whether a Lich build is good or not. Because every Lich build is good. So this person's spamming Rip Blood. I don't see their mana going back up. So they're not using Rip Blood for mana. They're using Rip Blood to generate a bunch of adaptive damage. For their proc Hungering Souls. And for like their Death Seal. Gotcha. Let's close this out. Cool. I'd climb more. Eventually it's a holiday season in my country. Blah, blah, blah. So the build's good enough and I made some sweet use of Rotmind beyond what the normal itemization is. So let's take a look at the build planner. Let's see. So where's Rotmind? Pop this over here. So Rotmind has spell. Man, if you have 3 LP on it, I was gonna say like you're using this for the +1, less damage taken, and the AoE. But like the AoE doesn't do anything because you're not using dot skills. So like you're using this for +1. And like having a catalyst that has +1 on it is pretty good. There's a lot of text that we're ignoring here. But like, you know, it's cool. Are we, okay, so we're using a Marinas as well. I'd expect that. Got like a nice big health total, 2,900. Let's take a look at the skills. So we're stacking intelligence, getting armor for it. Got some extra damage over here. Death Seal is proccing our Hungering Souls over there. So like this node got nerfed, but like whatever, it's still good. And then we have 1 point in Doom Call, which means that our Marinas is very, very strong. 4 out of 4 in adaptive stuff. And they are just dealing as much damage as possible. I'm surprised they don't have like another cast speed node up here. Instead of like this stuff. Like these nodes down here, I am not in love with them. But like that's kind of beside the point. I might just take like Run Dry. I might just take more cast speed and like the other cast speed point, maybe another cast speed point. But all right, I get it. It's fine. Bone Curse, we're not cheating. We're not doing the Cursed Limbs and Illusion of Pain. So kudos for being ethical. And then this is only shooting out 1 soul, right? So what's our clear speed? Our clear speed is just, actually we have a video, right? Let's go take a look at the video real quick. I think the clear speed is just Death Seal, right? Bloop. They went 5 out of 5 in the Hungering Soul, so +1 is 3 crits, which is the same thing as Crystal Skull. Yeah, I hear you. Let's go over here. So it's kind of like the assassin playstyle. You just like kill 1 monster along the way. Let Death Seal kill stuff. But you're not really doing much more than that. Gotcha. So we pointed out that this thing gives +3 base crit. But it gives +1 skill point. So here, your +3 base crit is 1 skill point here. Which means if you used a Crystal Skull instead, you get +3 base crit, but you lose the +1 skill point, so it's a wash. So we're not really getting anything out of it, right? Got it. Okay. I mean, the +1 is interesting. I like that you can just use the +1 as long as you have a bunch of LP on it, but I don't think I suspect that this is not the spiciest it's going to get. I think we can get spicier than this. Cool. So that was the first build submission. Worth noting, this build submission was also from like 4-ish days ago. This is like the very first person submitting their build, and I appreciate that. So good for them for getting on the board. Let's take a look at build number 2 here. Build number 2, this is someone named Trend. When it processes, no problem. Okay, so planner with some basic gear. What are we getting into? We're a druid, a werebear, swipe, maelstrom, warcry, and tangling roots. Gotcha. Damage over time, atrophy, Aurora's time glass, damage over time. Wow, imagine having good modifiers on your LP Rotmind. I have no idea what that's like. All right, so this person says, cold dot werebear. Why? The original plan was to go all in on poisonous and tangling roots. But there's 2 issues. Roots don't really deal damage. I feel like when I played cold dot werebear in the past, then my roots did a lot of damage. I disagree. When we start farming for blessing, going to threatening corruption, it's no longer a real build. So same would be true of the roots only cold dot. Oh, roots only, because Maelstrom does the damage in the build. I don't know. I feel like this person is not giving roots enough credit for their damage. 2. My replacement for Maelstrom was going to be Fury Leap. We get Maul cooldown, Frenzy on land, 30 flat spell damage I can stack twice because of CDR, other cool goodies, except we don't because of bugs. Oh, all the new nodes don't apply because they're all bugged. Yeah, I know what this bug is here. The new nodes in Fury Leap, when you try to proc Fury Leap by using Maul and Werebear form, all the new ones don't actually work. So let's see. Why go Rotmind for cold damage over time? The plus skills are just way better than anything else before Dragon Staff. So like it's important to know Dragon Staff does have the +1 on it and it's very good. So I think it's worth doing till then if you have the item, regardless of how you want to end your character. We lose about 25% more cold damage over time and about 15 flat spell damage by not going for a Dragon Staff. Gives +1 Warcry, 50% increased damage. Gotcha. It also means you get to use a Titan Heart, which is relevant for defense. It's good damage reduction there. We gain Scepters, which means melee attack speed, which is fantastic quality of life because we're a Maelstrom build. We want to swipe for it. Generates more Maelstrom stacks. We also gain increased area of effect, which is noticeable. Interesting that an established build is possibly improved, or at very worst, a side grade with this item here. That's cool. All right, so we know basically what's going on. They have some footage or maybe discussion here. Take a look at this. What can I? Let me open that on YouTube instead. Maybe it'll have better quality. Zoop.
Okay.
I'm already worried that this person's brain is too big for me because they have build planner, Dragon Staff, Rotmind, and then they're timing how long it takes to kill a boss. Hopefully they normalize the modifiers as well. Okay, I'll turn them up.
To level 100, which I'll show you in a bit on the actual last Epoch screen. The main difference between this and completely vanilla cold dot is instead of a Dragon Staff, which allows you to both get elemental damage over time, which isn't on Scepters, and a little bit more spell damage, and 1 more point of Warcry, because Warcry gets tagged cold, which is an elemental skill, which is not a damage over time skill. So those 3 things. And then the drawback of the Dragon Staff is it's level 85 too. So I'll talk about that in a second. But so yeah, we see like there's this gap in elemental damage over time because the Dragon Staff does it better.
Is there like an important part that we can?
Much gap in spell damage because we have.
We can fast forward to. I don't want to watch a 10-minute video right now.
A little bit under 40 less, and then we can have 30 poison damage. So like that draws it closer. And then if we look at our gear, like this build requires 60 attunement, and once you hit 60 attunement, everything else goes into strength. So this gear is, I put T5s on.
Gotcha.
if you had even one tier 6 attunement, then you get to
See,
take
here's
a
a
tier 6
boss
strength
here.
instead of this attunement. So when you start like replacing more and more gear, you get tons of flat spell damage and tons of with all the defensives you have.
I think you see the attack speed here, right?
Down into endurance.
So staves don't roll melee attack speed, and they have a slower
proccing
base than a
'cause I'm
scepter
almost
does, but
dying.
scepter doesn't roll
Proccing
LA dot.
when I lose half of my effective HP. So it's like not even close.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
In fact, like you can swap out Aurora for Bleeding Heart, and you may never notice that Aurora should have procced. And then I will pull up another video, which is like me killing.
All right, I'm gonna shelf this for the time being. I think I know what's going on. So like I've seen cold damage over time before. I know what it looks like visually. So cold damage over time, I'm gonna pop this open actually. It's cold damage over time plus Rotmind. So you get the poison damage over time. It's a shame that like Maelstrom can't be poison converted, right? Like that would be so cool. There's poison conversion somewhere, right? Where's the poison conversion stuff? Physical converted to poison damage. So I hope that somebody tries this because we have 6 more builds to go after this, right? It's like if you convert all of your spell damage to poison damage, that means that like poisons can be used like shock as like a shred mechanism, right? Yeah, if you could do poison Maelstrom, I think that'd be really cool. I don't suspect that that'll ever happen, but like devs, if you're out there, it'd be cool. What else do we have? The cold conversion stuff, just like cold, cold, cold. And then we just happen to be using some of the poison damage. So again, it's just like generic, it's got +1. Yeah, okay, pretty straightforward. I mean, I like it, but it's pretty straightforward. So that is build number 2. I'm trying not to spend too much time. I remember how much time I spent conversing about every single build a while ago. The previous times we've done these build contests. And the fact that we have 8 of them, I am trying to keep up the pace just a tiny little bit. All right, this build comes from Mao Mao X. I haven't seen that name before. It must be a new player. This person's playing a Green Boy Lich character. He says, originally I wanted to do an Exsanguinous build with drain life, mana to ward generation, but the gameplay quality of life was bad, so I scrapped it and I went back to Death Seal. Wow. I was able to get to almost 11,000 ward though, just by putting in whatever gear I had in my bank. That was interesting, but Death Seal / health is just so much better. Wandering Spirits does most of the damage. I love it. And Death Seal extends the duration of Wandering Spirits. Gotcha. And casting Drain Life with the Eternal Servitude node extends the Green Boys even longer. Rip Blood Spam for mana back and global flat damage. The global flat damage only happens if you are... I think it only happens if you have the flat damage when you first click on Wandering Spirits. So like if you have one super long duration Wandering Spirits and you're adding damage in the middle of it, I'm pretty sure it doesn't apply. Because I think it's snapshots at the very beginning. Targeted Wandering Spirits for easier placement for bosses like Julra. Ooh, it looks like we have Julra in here as well. I did testing on my level 100 Lich. I killed tier 4 Julra, even though it took a while, but it was doable. 420 corruption, nice. Dummy damage goes upward of 200,000 on the dummy while Death Seal is active. Would I ever play this over a crit Lich? No. Chat, if there's one thing that I like, it's honesty. Straight into my veins, dude. I love honesty like this. Let's take a look at some tier 4 Julra. $4,000 life. Oh god, he's doing it ethically. Completely ethical. Look at this. Wait, is he human form? Wait. Is this a human form Lich?
Okay. Dead.
I can't wait to look at the build planner. I also can't wait to look at the, wait, where's the shade kill? Is he just gimme. He's a human. I love it. I don't even know if the build's good. I have no idea. Shattering the Lich meta in 2. Absolutely destroying it. So I talked about the builds that I was playing when I was trying to build around Rotmind, and like the Drain Life thing and the Wandering Spirits thing. Like I tried it and I kind of like it. The damage seemed fine. But the reason that I stopped playing that build altogether is I just felt like it was a bad version of crit. And it's notable, if you, in case you don't know who Mao is plays a lot of Lich builds. Would I ever play this over crit? No. And like, me neither, Mao. Me neither. He has another clip here talking about going over the skills and the gear. I'll watch a minute-long clip. Let's see what he's got to say.
That's gear. Obvious items.
Excuse me? This is your online character?
Obvious idols. Wandering spirits. Poison. Defensive setup with transplant. Scaling damage with
cast speed, mana return, sure.
Doing casted drain life. This wandering spirits doesn't expire on the first tap, so
you didn't do poison conversion. I wonder why you didn't do poison conversion on your drain life.
Going, and then you just spam Rip Blood in the meantime. And then Testiel, pretty default. That's it.
Got it. And then you believe that the adaptive damage you get from Rip Blood applies to the green boys per green boy that spawns, not snapshot at the very beginning. I thought it snapshotted from the very beginning. I thought so. So Wandering Spirits, Rip Blood, Drain Life, Transplant, Death Seal. Transplant's giving us defenses. And then it casts more of this. How do you feel about Transplant being spec'd over Reaper form? I'm curious to know what you say about that. Alright, so that was build number 3, right? Build number 1 was the crit build. Build number 2 is cold damage over time. Build number 3 is the green boy special from Mao. Let's go on to build number 4. Build number 4 is someone named Zeta. Let's take a look. Let's pop open the build planner while we're talking. They say, here's my build contribution. Lich with Spirit Plague for clear. Okay, I like that. It's one of the things that I was trying as well. Aura of Decay for more clear and also single target. Wandering Spirits converted to poison for single target, great for melting rares. And Reaper form Death Seal combo to give you tons of damage and stuff. Gotcha. I took a long time to put together as at a fresh start. I had no acolyte and no items saved. I got to Empowered yesterday and it was a breeze to get there. Good. I tried many iterations of this build in the way and found this to be the best as it doesn't rely on any other unique items, although it could use a 2 LP Woven Flesh. B2. The tankiness and sustain of the build are bonkers with really fast clear and good single target. I love this build even though I mainly play melee characters. Yeah, alright, so first of all, if you've never played Lich before, you should play Lich, because this person loves it, and you would too. So we have the character here, let's take a look at it. This is a Spirit Plague with 20 mana cost. Get out of here. Get Out of here, 20 mana cost. Other than this, I like it. So the idea of this, so Spirit Plague does not convert to poison, but Spirit Plague applies poison. So when you spam like with a bunch of cast speed, Spirit Plague itself does not stack. You can only have one instance of Spirit Plague on the enemy. But if you like spam your right click, you're also applying a bunch of poisons here. So that poison is going to buff up the other sources of spell poison damage over time in the build. That's kind of like the shock thing that I was mentioning previously. Okay, so we have Spirit Plague stuff here. I'm surprised we didn't take the more damage multipliers on the top. I wonder how much intelligence we have. We have 58 intelligence. Gotcha, gotcha. Death Seal, some poison stuff, love it. Remember, Aura of Decay is not a spell, so it deals poison damage. It applies poisons. They are poisoned 4 times a second. Yeah, so it applies poisons. It's not poison spell damage over time though. Gotcha. Putrid Bombs. Little poison bolt. The audio of the poison bolt is like nightmarish. I hate this thing. What is this? Okay, sure. I'm looking for, like, are there any nodes that I don't know what they do? I don't think so. I've never seen anyone use the Putrid Bomb, though. It leaves a Putrid Bomb once every 2 seconds. Look at the node behind the poison node. This node. Spirit Plague has a chance to summon a poison wisp when it kills an enemy. A minion lasts for 15 seconds and poisons enemies. So like, what if you just trimmed the 20 mana cost and trimmed that and like took some more damage multipliers instead? Poison penetration with plague. Plague's an element that only stacks up one time. I would love to have some extra more damage multipliers up here. But like, that's just me. So let's keep clicking around and learning. Wandering Spirits, we saw a lot of people trying this out. Cooldown here, poison conversion there, reveal rate, sure. So there's nothing channeled about this. We're just like auto casting it or just casting it on bosses. And then Reaper Form, we are not having a second movement skill. We're not taking the percent increased damage, and we're not taking the cast speed, and we're not taking Mark for Death. We're taking nodes that I don't know what they do, so I have to read them. You've increased healing effectiveness, and you leech more of the damage you deal. You gain health on hit. So healing effect is nice for AOD. Sure. You gain a stack of Reaper's Descendants every 5 seconds you spend in Reaper form. So once every 5 seconds. Once every 5 seconds, you gain 4% increased damage. And then 4 times 25 is 100. So it's the same as this, but it doesn't have the crit chance on it. But I guess we're not crit build. What's this node do? You gain stacks more frequently. Yeah, all right. All right. Let's see. We have 40. Holy shit. Are you kidding? Is this real life? Is this actually real life? 4,800 life? Get out of here. That's not true. Is it? There's no way that's true. That's a lot of fucking life. So damage over time, the poison stuff. Yeah. This was pretty similar to something that I tried. The biggest difference is I was trying Drain Life for single target. And like I tried like channeled Drain Life plus normal Wandering Spirits, non-channeled Drain Life plus channeled Wandering Spirits. And I couldn't quite find which playstyle I really enjoyed. But I didn't try Orb of Decay at all, because I'm not really a believer in Orb of Decay. I wonder how the single target damage is on this character. We don't have a video, do we? For this one? We don't? That's too bad. Alright. So that's this character. This is the AOD tier 7 life character. Which kind of makes me jealous. That's a lot of life. Poison damage, vitality stuff, things. What's this thing do? Sure. All right. Let's take a look at the next character here. So half of this build contest is looking for like good builds or strong builds or, you know, things that are competitive. And the other half of this build contest is looking for sweet builds. The sweetest thing that I feel I've seen so far, like I don't want to poison the waters by influencing Twitch chat with my own opinion, but like Human Form Lich is pretty interesting. I like what people are trying. Where's the spice? You know what I mean? Where's the spice? Didn't have time to finish the character. Is that what he said? He got to empowered. It was a breeze. Tried many iterations. Okay, so he doesn't actually have that gear. Like, man, if I had that gear, holy shit. Let's take a look at Batman. So this is the Bittersweet Lich Rotmind Poison dot build. So this is another Lich character here. Let's pop open the planner while we talk. Zoop. Ooh. Using a Tongue of the Aberrant Seer, sure. This is my first build guide ever for Last Epoch. As I built this in the online version, I'm new to Last Epoch. All this gear was found yesterday. This was built completely from scratch. Ran through the story. Level 70 before timed out. Would I run this long term as opposed to the Crit Lich meta build? No. Feels like a lot of people have the same opinion. If nothing else, a huge thank you as I learned a ton about the game mechanics, crafting monoliths while attempting to build this, but that's the point. It is the point. Nice. So with the build planner, we said concept. Take advantage of the poison and dot from Rotmind, and I felt the best synergies were in the Lich skill tree and spells. Get poison tags on the skills wherever you can. So we have Hungering Souls, which is not poison, but it gets to take advantage of stuff. Spirit Plague, Wandering Spirits, Reperform Death Seal. Nice. We have some gameplay here. Yeah, let's go take a look at the gameplay, and then I will show the build planner after that. All right, show me.
Hey, good morning. It's Tom Batman Zigbar, and today we have a build guide.
Is his last name Batman? Get out of here. Wait.
Hey, good morning. It's Tom Batman Zigbar, and today we have a build guide.
His name is
for
Batman?
a challenge with Perry the Pig for the Rotmind.
I'm in love.
Here that came out in 0.9 for last Epic. So this build is really built around.
That's like Superman trying to conceal his identity. He's like, yeah, my name's Clark Superman.
This particular unique. So a couple of
oh, is his name not actually Batman?
29,
all right, I'm not in love anymore.
Damage over time spells, +1 to those damage over time spells. 17% less damage. Over,
give me the gameplay.
Again, that's not as important for
where we
this
at?
build. 1% of poison damage reduces health. That is important.
Gameplay.
I do have some idols.
Hit me.
Here, increased damage while transformed and increased damage while transformed. So that's kind of nice. And we'll just go around and get some of those up.
Let's go full screen.
Basically just spamming the cooldown. Okay, so now we have the 3 out.
All right, I get what's going on here. When I was working with this, I felt like my single target damage was a little bit low, which is why I was gravitating toward Drain Life to try to get some extra damage. Like, Drain Life does a lot of damage. It just really does. Let's take a look at this setup. I don't know exactly what they're doing with Hungering Souls. Let's go pop that open as well. Nope, not that one. Here's a build planner. Curse damage, spell necrotic damage. That good. Again, we're using damage over time, so like we have atrophy, so like we have generic penetration there. And our Hungering Souls is spec'd for one big hit. So the one big hit only gives us a more damage multiplier for hit damage. So what are we scaling? Damage over time, intelligence, spell damage, damage over time, damage over time, damage over time, poison damage. So the damage over time and poison damage don't do anything for the Hungering Souls hit. So I'm kind of curious why the hit node is taken here. Maybe the thinking is like, why not? But because like this is a damage over time build first and foremost, right? Directly casting Hungering Souls causes you to deal more damage over time. So they had it on their bar, so like presumably they're casting this like maybe every 2 or 3 seconds to get some extra damage, which is neat. It's a cool idea. Damage over time, damage over time, damage over time. 3 minions. Wandering Spirits. The poison conversion that we saw before. And we have the fear node, sure. We have the poison stuff. Marked for death, damage. And then for Death Seal, we are proccing this. And we're not bothering with Doom Call, which I think is fine. Okay. Directly casting Hunger Souls causes you to deal more damage over time against possessed enemies. So more than one enemy could be possessed. Because like the possession could happen from anything, right? Like it could be from the proc off of Death Seal, or it could be from like the one that you cast manually. Realistically, I understand. Realistically, this is probably just something that you're using for single target damage. And for single target damage, I think it's nice. I think it's totally appropriate to be here. And I think the rest of this kind of falls in line with the other Reaper, or sorry, the other Lich builds that we've seen, right? Just like as much poison conversion as possible. Damage over time stuff, yeah. Alright, I get it. Death Seal can technically hit multiple targets. Actually, the single projectile chance is 70, so it's got a 30% chance to shoot out multiple until you disable that. Is it technically? Cool, I like it. That is, what's it, 1, 2, 3, sorry, so we've done 5 builds so far. And we have 3 left. We have 2 submissions from the same person. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to read both of these, but I'm skeptical that they both came from the same person. And then the other one is from a Blazin here. All right, so let's do our third to last build here. Build number 1. This is Unlimited Rootworks. Unlimited Rootworks. It kind of sounds like a brewing company. The basic concept is that you have a 60% chance to gain a Veil Spirit on Totem Death. So this is a Spriggan form build, which applies when unsummoned for some reason. So you spam totems until you have 6 Veil Spirits. Oh, it's not a brewery? It's a reference to Fate? Bunch of weebs in chat. And then you use Spirit Thorns, which, once triggered, causes roots to appear 90% more damage, and it gives you 90 rage. Gotcha. Roots is converted to poison damage, so with the poison damage from Rotmind, it's almost 100% poison. And your totem spam is also totem pop, which means you're applying a bunch of poisons to take advantage of the shred. That's cool. All this combined means that Roots is doing huge damage, right? Well, yes, for clear, but the single target is really bad. You can make it a tiny bit better by spamming Thorn Totems until you pop a root. But the difference is really negligible because you lose all your Veil Spirits when Roots trigger, so Spirit Thorns is not great. If Scepters could roll minion damage over time, the build would be a lot better, since a not insignificant portion of damage comes from the Totem Pop portion of the build. So let's take a look at the video. So this is 100 corruption with 3 defensive modifiers. Health, health, health. So just like totem pop, totem pop, totem pop, pew. Pop, 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 pop. That's a lot more entangling roots than any other build can produce, right? Like even on Cold Out Werebear, like you need to wait for the cooldown of your maul. Your single target damage, you can only hit an enemy with one source of, or one instance of entangling roots, right? If you hit an enemy with 2 entangling roots that are like overlapping in duration, yeah, they don't stack. I can see where the single target damage might be lacking. This is definitely the most creative thing we've seen so far. I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely the most creative thing that we've seen so far. I included a shade fight, but it's miserable. Oh, I can't wait to see that. I included a shade fight, but it's miserable. Enemies deal LA damage, enemies have health and damage. So this is health. So this, okay, so this is 3 defensive modifiers. Gotcha. So this is lacking like the supplemental damage from Maelstrom. I'm thinking about like, how does this compare to single target damage from Cold Dot Werebear? Not like it's worse. Not that bad. Note that you want to wait for roots to wear off, so you're not proccing as fast as you can. Yeah, because roots deals more damage over its duration. Yep. So you don't want to proc it ASAP. You want to wait for the icon under their name to disappear and then cast it again. Yeah, I follow. Let's close this here. Let's take a look at the build planner. So if the scepter could roll minion damage, it's like not minion spell damage, but like minion damage over time, because like the totem pop portion of this build, it'd be better. Interesting. So cast speed and cast speed, because we're a totem pop build and you want to be proccing the totems as fast as possible. +2 levels there. +2 levels for Thorn Totem. Really? Do we need that? Summoning speed, all the normal nodes that you expect, and you want the poison chance as high as possible. Sure. Poison chance, poison duration, poison stuff. We have crit avoid and crits. We're crit entangling roots. Poggers, dude. And then what does this say? Your healing totems have a chance to summon a Veil Spirit when they die. Yeah, okay. Bunch of defensive stuff. 1 point down here. Eterra's Blessing. Okay. Summon Spriggan is only there because the 15 flat in the dodge. And it's like, well, if you're not going to take this, you're probably going to take like like Ice Thorns or something. And that would be the alternative skill. All right. Let's take a look at the second to last. You're going to make me go through the entire video just to edit out that portion of it?
Sorry.
I have to go through the entire video just to edit out the portion where you're distracting me off stream. She walks down here and she makes like a bunch of goofy faces. She's like, We're not editing that. We're just going to leave it in. The second to last builds is the Poison Spell Lich. I anticipate that this will probably be similar to things we've seen before, but let's take a look at it. Anyways, we have a video. All right, video. What do you got? Click. Wait, are you using Reaper form? That is like, that's super old school, right? Reaper Form Lich, huh? What a weirdo. We have Wandering Boys, Wandering Boys. Wandering Boy, Wandering Boy, and then like you walk up to it and you use... Was that Drain Life it looked like? I suspect that this is the permanent Wandering Spirits with duration extended from Drain Life. You cast Drain Life in your path like a Holy Trail build. Wouldn't it be great if there were skills that could like change their geometry based on how you spec them? Like, what if I don't want Drain Life to be in a circle? What if I want it to be in a line? Come on, man. That'd be so sick if you could do that. Let's pop open the build planner and see what's going on here. Tongue of the Aberrant Seer. It's the second person using this. Chance to poison on spell hit. +1 of poison spell skills. Very cool. And then we have, what is this? Damn on hit. The damn on hit contributing to this double more multiplier in Wandering Spirits. I like that. A little Spectral Putrescence to poison some enemies. And then we have more damn coming in from this. Oh, we're not extending anything. Gotcha. This is not a Drain Life extending your Wandering Spirits thing. And we have no extension on Wandering Spirits over here. Remember, Mao was taking this. And I think he was also taking the Internal Servitude. Normal looking skill tree here. And then once again, using Rip Blood for a bunch of adaptive and mana return to help fund your addiction for Drain Life. Cool. Let's read the notes of what's going on here. So this build revolves around the fact that Lich does a lot of damage. So weird builds work well on Lich. Wandering Spirits with poison conversion kills almost everything as you move through an echo. Drain Life kills anything that you place on top of it, assuming that they don't move off it immediately. And Death Seal does an absurd amount of damage despite barely scaling it at all. Yes, I put a singularity in the build just for Death Seal. What a dream come true. The new flat damage node in Rip Blood is what makes this build so much better than it was in the past. That is like when you spam it on hit, you're gaining a bunch of flat damage. I tried Drain Life in the past, but it's too mana hungry for what it does. Rip Blood not only gives you the mana that you need, but also charges your damage, making the single target damage feel great. Why Rotmind though? So the better choice would probably be a Bastion altogether, because Bastion is poor game design. Yes, it's so good. But outside of that, Rotmind gives you both offensive and defensive benefits. It gives you better flat than you would get with a staff, and it gives you AoE, which feels great for Drain Life. AoE not only makes Drain Life feel a lot better by increasing the tiny hitbox, but it significantly increases the chance of AoE overlap from Wandering Spirits. With 2 prefixes, Rotmind vastly outclasses any other possibilities in terms of damage, even in LP Marinas. Wow, that's wild. Wait, with 2 prefixes, it outclasses any other possibility in terms of damage. But like you could use it with Marinas though. Wait a minute. Oh, we have one boss fight here as well. Let's start toward the beginning. This. Because you don't get the poison shred. Yeah, okay. Whoa, whoa. Oh, this is normal. Okay, gotcha. I was about to be super impressed by this. I am impressed. But God bless. This is normal with no corruption on it. Yeah, Marinas forces necrotic damage on your spells, even if you convert it. So you specifically don't want to use Marinas in this. The Druid build had pretty lackluster single target. Anything else here? We saw previously. It's like running through an echo. Okay. Cool. Let's close this out. So we had one Spriggan Form build. We had a couple Liches. We had one Druid so far. I guess 2 Druids because we have the Spriggan as well. Lots of Lich characters. All right, we're on build number 8. Let's take a look at this. Wasn't able to get to YouTube, upload it before leaving for work this morning, but I'll describe it as best as possible. So I created a spell.druid using EQ for damage. I was intrigued with the idea of using aftershocks for damage. So remember, EQ does not gain the damage over time tag, so you don't get to take advantage of the like +1 to dot spells, which Rotmind has on it. Initially, aftershocks are melee hits, but after taking both the spell tag for EQ and the aftershocks converted to damage over time. Cool. The aftershocks then became a physical spell damage over time proc from EQ, which means it gains the damage. It does gain. Wait, does it? It doesn't gain the damage, does it? I'm not sure it does. What's this thing say? It says poison damage over time. Wait, sorry, poison damage for damage over time spells. I don't think it does gain the flat damage, right? For damage over time spells, +1 to damage over time spells. So it doesn't get the +1, but it does get the flat damage. Gotcha, gotcha. Let's keep going here. Even though the tooltip DPS for aftershocks shown is completely bugged and inaccurate, the damage added from Rotmind does work. Cool. However, EQ does not gain the tag, so it doesn't get +1. Okay, perfect. Love the explanation. Alongside Earthquake, I wanted to implement Entangling Roots, self-cast as a human. For one, because it turns into poison, becomes a solid spam AoE clear ability. It also snares enemies. It's cool. But also because I've never ever seen anyone try it before. Isn't it very mana hungry? I thought it was. I added swipe for mana regain and more damage initially, but the kill threshold and the fizz shred stacks were great as well. We use auto cast Warcry because we're lazy. Maelstrom for frenzy and haste, cool. The gameplay works. The way the gameplay works is running around casting Entangling Roots for trash clear, and then EQ near tankier rares and bosses swipe away. I use Fury for movement, let the enemies die behind me. Gotcha. A note on the aftershocks. Let's see this before I take a look. I used aftershocks, target your totem, primarily because the targeting was not ideal, but like they can overlap as well. So like one of the reasons you use totems through aftershocks is like you want them to like shotgun. Specifically Lagan, I have no aftershock damage, but in maps it's better to grab more damage in area. Overall, aftershocks was better than I thought. Typically did about 60 to 80k damage on the dummy twice a second. Entangling Roots is like 20k. The damage is about half or a third of the planner gear shown. The skills are set up in the way that my online character had them. The items are exalted of what I had for the most part. In summary, this was at worst a lame cold.weber setup, or in best case scenario, possibly a sweet shaman build. Love it. All right, here's the build planner. Boop. Possibly, maybe, kind of a good build if you really squint at it. So we are levels of Maelstrom, spell damage, level of EQ, level of Entangling Roots, damage over time, cast speed, and spell damage over time. Sure. This is like damage over time. Less damage over time taken in human form. Less damage over time taken. Less damage. We're triple less damage over time taken. This is probably the highest EHP that you will ever get for damage over time. Right? That's triple less damage over time taken. For when you're really scared of poison. Love it. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the mana cost as well. What's the mana regen? We have 17 mana regen. Okay, so we have like mana regen here, mana regen here. You probably want mana regen on your ring as well, right? I anticipate that mana was like a big problem for this. So we have mana, more damage, and kill threshold. AoE, more damage, physical convert. So like physical damage over time, EQ is physical damage over time. Entangling Roots is physical damage over time. You could be a tornado build if you wanted to. You could drop Warcry. What's Warcry do? Just Maelstrom? You could take the Lagan nodes in Maelstrom and then numlock Tornado. And then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 physical damage over time spells. It's kind of cool. Just get Warcry out of there. I'm not even sure if I'm memeing or not. I have no idea. Man, I kind of want to see the video for this, right? It's kind of a shame that we don't have one. Yeah. So dot EQ, and then Entangling Roots only for clear, with a measly 40 mana cost here and a 50 mana cost here. Listen, if the mana works, this sounds cool. I'm unsure if the mana works, but it does sound cool. For these damage over time spells, like the fact that you don't need a crit offhand means you get to use a shield. But if you don't use a shield, if you don't need a crit offhand, you can either use a shield or you can use a staff for like bigger flat damage. And then you also get to use a Titan Heart. I'm thinking about all the EHP calculations that we've done recently and looking at how these, like how squishy a character is, how tanky a character is. Like using an offhand when you're not forced to, it has like less damage or time taken. I don't know, man. What a weird item. Somebody made a joke in the middle of this contest a couple of days ago. They said the biggest problem with Rotmind is that it's an offhand. What if it was a helmet? Like what if you took the fancy looking skull and you put it on your head? And like that's a absurd helmet. I think it's too strong as a helmet. But like thinking about where this item could be instead and the opportunity cost that it presents by not being a shield or something. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? All right, so we've gone over 8 builds. How many people are here? Got just shy of 100 people. That's awesome. I'm going to create a straw poll because 8 is too many. Let's see. Multiple options, no. Require participants' names, no. End date, allow comments, allow sharing, no. Not public. Edit vote, no. Once per IP address. I'm locking you all down. You only get 1 vote per IP address. All right, so build number 1 is crit Hungering Souls. Build number 2 is a cold dot build. It's basically just a cold dot werebear that happens to use Rotmind. Build number 2. What am I supposed to do with all my bots? What a pain. Build number 3 is the Human Lich / Wandering Spirits. Build number 4 was Spirit Plague. Where's my NordVPN? Build number 5 is, what's like the defining portion of this? Build number 5. This is Spirit Plague, Wandering. I guess like dot hungering souls. We'll call this dot hungering souls. I think that's the biggest differentiator for that build. Build number 6 is totem pop. It's like it was. What do you call this? Totem pop entangling roots. Build number 7 is what do we call this? This is like the Rip Blood adaptive thing. We saw this a couple times, right? What do we call this build? Rot Blood? God, it's such a good name. Chat, you're much better at clickbait than I am. It kind of sounds hot. I'm gonna call it Poison Drain Life. Because I don't think the other person... Was Mao doing Poison Drain Life as well? I don't think he was. Mao had Drain Life. It was Poison. What's the difference between Mao's build and Kelvara's build? One of them had 4,100 life, and the other one had less than 2k life. One of them has an LP Omnis and a 3 LP Grimoire. Only on my Discord. These are all build submissions. There we go. Let's go. We'll call it Perma Wandering Spirits. Yeah, Mao is human. So this is a Reaper Lich with CD Spirits. And then the very last build at the bottom here is Dot Earthquake Shaman, or Dot Earthquake Druid. It's a human druid, right? Fizz Dot Earthquake Human Druid. Public after end date. Is there an end date? Set end date. What's the end date? Please choose a date in the future. I am trying. There we go. Create poll? Does this work? A lot of Lich builds. My admin rights are temporary. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Voting ends in 3 minutes? Oh shit. I guess so. No shit, you only have 3 minutes to vote. All right. Sweetest build. I can click show results, right? And then I just won't show it on the screen. Perfect. I'll show it in a moment here. I only gave you 3 minutes to vote, Chad. These are some cool builds. It was interesting. It was much more limiting than I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna pull up the Rotmind here. I'm just gonna go item database Rotmind. Like, look at this thing. Poison damage over time. Sorry, poison damage for damage over time spells. Like, anytime that you can use an item to get flat adaptive damage that's not a wand or like not a weapon, like that's really notable, right? It's hard to ever have too much flat. I kind of like it. Stupid shields. Man, shields are way too good. It is pretty good. Let's see, we still have about 3 minutes to go on the voting. Chat, if you haven't voted already, you are helping determine who gets a gift sub to the channel. Who gets all the glory? Shields? I mean, Shields is strong. Bastion's strong. But like, Shields are strong. Would Shields be so much of a complaint if Bastion didn't exist? I don't think so. Works well with Aura of Decay because of the less damage or time taken. That's notable. It's too bad that like Aura of Decay is not a spell, so you don't get the +1 tag there. And it applies poisons, so it's not dealing spell damage. So the first 2 lines of text you whiff on. How much time do we have? We have like 2 minutes left. Rotmind is 800 damage stronger with Spirit Plague over an offhand with 100% increased necrotic damage and 50% spell damage. I assume that as a Lich, you already get a bunch of percent increased damage. There's a ton of percent increased damage in the Lich Mastery. And then also, assuming that you use Reaper Form, which maybe I shouldn't assume, but assuming that you use Reaper Form, you also get like 100 or maybe even like 180% increased damage there. Let's see, chat. I need more votes here. If you haven't voted already, I want to do top 3. I want to give gift subs out to them. But there's currently a tie that's getting in the way. Yes. Area for spell damage over time. Correct. It does benefit. Chat, I need some more votes. Give me your votes. Pop open that link. Give me some votes. We're gonna keep voting until the tie is broken. I'm pretty sure you can't see the tie. I'm pretty sure you can't see the votes yet. I'm hoping that remains the case. Maybe you can. Don't look. Can't see the results? Good, good. I can. I have permission. Maybe I'll go vote. Keeps telling you that you can't vote. All right, I guess it might be closed then. We only waited 3 minutes. Voting closed ago. Voting did close ago. Thank you, website. All right, I'm gonna break the tie, but it's a tie for 3rd place. I think 1st and 2nd are pretty firm. So, let me do this. You want to revote for the tie? No, I'm just gonna break the tie. Don't worry about it. Drum roll, please. Sweetest build. Scroll. I don't know if it's the sweetest build or if we're all just really excited to see somebody play a Lich without using Reaper Form. I'm not sure which part of this build is the sweetest, but I will allow it. So rank 1, baby. The top build here is the Mau Mau X special, the Human Form Perma Wandering Spirits build. Gets the nod from Twitch chat. People are in love with it, and the crowd goes wild. Pretty cool, man. I like it. The 2nd place build. Maybe I should have done 3rd place first. Who cares? 1st place, baby. 1st place. 2nd place of our 8 builds that we've been going over here. 2nd place is, where is it? This one, the Unlimited Rootworks Druid, which is apparently some kind of weeb reference. So this is the Totem Pop spam with Entangling Roots. The single target damage is a little bit low. The clear speed kind of looks fun, and it's definitely the weirdest idea that we saw. It is definitely like a new way of causing damage to happen. So this will be our 2nd place person, and our 3rd place person. Let's keep on scroll. Where's the scrolls at? Scroll. Where's the 3rd person? I think it's this one. Let me make sure. This one? Oh shit. I don't know which one it is. I think it's this one. I didn't name it well enough. Spirit Plague. Is it this one? Is this one, right? No, it's this one. Here we go. Got it. All right. Third place is Zeta. And Zeta is playing the Spirit Plague Lich. So Lich is centered on Spirit Plague for clear and Orb Decay for more clear and single target. Wandering Spirits chomping down on some enemies. That's you, baby. Let's go. So our third place contestant. Look at this. I really liked the idea of using Spirit Plague as a skill for this contest. Like, it doesn't deal poison damage, but it does apply poisons. So like it kind of gets to benefit from the rest of the build, but like you need something that applies poisons because you want to apply 30 poisons, and like maybe just having Wandering Spirits shooting the poisons is not enough. But we have plenty of ways of applying poisons to take advantage of it as like a poison shred for our poison spells, which in this case is pretty much just Wandering Spirits, right? So there it is. I like that. Plague is poison. That's true. Plague is poison. Indeed, Arena. All right, cool. So we had our 3 contest winners there. So those people are going to get those 3 people will get gift subs to the channel, and then we'll put this video up on YouTube so people can see what these contests are all about. Thank you for everybody who participated. I kind of feel like I'm in a waiting room for Firestarter's Torch, but we've been told that the next bug fix patch that'll come for Last Epoch will have a fix for Firestarter's Torch as well. I don't want to do a build contest this soon, but I guess it depends when the bug fix happens. If the bug fix happens like 2 weeks from now, we might just do another build contest immediately, because I like these kinds of things. I like seeing what y'all come up with, and that's it. That's the conclusion right there. We'll see you next time.